All right.
Episode 12, Mitchell. Yeah.
Are we going with this?
You're going. 12? Yeah, go for it.
No, you go for it. I always bring it. Do you want to introduce us? Let's do it. We've always had me. Go, Jamey. It's all you.
I'm Jamey. This is Mitchell. We're here to talk positively about board gaming and other topics for the next 30 minutes or so. This is episode 12. We're almost a teenager here, Mitchell.
We haven't reached those awkward, rebellious years yet. But you can bet, starting with 13, I'm going to be difficult. I'm going to throw stuff around. I'm going to be rebellious. That's a really funny idea, though. The idea that we become a rebellious show when we hit our teens. Right. That's going to be awesome. I like that, Frank. You should introduce every show. You're funnier than me. I hate you.
Well, what would let's before we begin? We'll do treat before we begin, but I have it before we begin today that I want to ask you about.
Okay, cool.
And it's related to my board game night that I had last night. We had pretty bad weather in St. Louis here.
Okay,
and yet 12 other people showed up for game night, which really surprised me.
Wow.
And I wanted to ask you, how bad would the weather need to be, or not bad, for you to not go to a game night that you were excited to attend?
Well, let me tell you this. Unfortunately, I've missed several of mine, mostly because of recovering from stuff or, dealing with the surgical stuff has always been a pain. And it always seems there's some interference on that level. But that notwithstanding, healthy Mitchell with good bones and feeling good. If I want to go to a game night, I'm going to be there. And again, I live in Southern California. Right. So the worst thing about it isn't even the weather that stops things here. It's the traffic. Where a trip that wouldn't take anywhere else 15 minutes takes an hour and change here. So it's that becomes the roadblock. But you know what? When you want to see your friends and family and get together for a good time, it would have to be where the roads were unsafe and it isn't safe to go out, because that happens too, where you'll get weather warnings and say, look, we know you want to go out and live your life, but this is not safe. It would take an unsafe warning for me to miss game night. Otherwise, I don't mind driving in weather. We don't get snow out here, but rain, everything else. I'm like the Postal Service, not rain nor snow, nor even Mitchell Whitfield is the Postal Service. A new disturbing movie coming this fall. So what happened? So you had 12 people show up, and did everything go as was it? And it's so funny, Jamey. My topic of the day was going to be game night. But that was going to be my topic, but I changed it last minute. So that would have been a very weird sort of serendipitous thing there. But yeah, it was a good game night.
It was a fantastic game night. It was a thunderstorm that happened for hours, and I was expecting one or two people to show up. And so I was amazed when people kept coming in the door, because knowing me, I'm a little different than you. If there's more than like a mild rain, I am probably not leaving the house.
Wow.
And so
you've led a blessed life, Jamey. You've led a blessed life. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious what people in the comments have to say about this, if they have different takes on it, because I know everyone has different. Like, most important to me is that people get here safely and get home safe.
Right, of course.
But I think everyone has different propensities for that, and mine is very low. But other people's, apparently 12 other people were very high on that scale.
I think, and you know what, Jamey, in your defense, and also sort of what the Midwest has been going through with weather, it's no joke with the tornadoes, and as you talked about in your last video, trees down all over the place. Taking so long for people to get power and the interwebs back. I don't blame people for wanting to sort of retreat and just wanting everything to be over and good and staying indoors. But I'm very the only thing I was thinking of was like, if you had, seen the weather and said, oh, they're not going to be that many people, I'm not going to put out that much food, or I don't have to worry about food. And then all of a sudden everyone shows up. You're like, oh, get the canned string beans. We have to serve something. I just picture you rummaging through the cabinets trying to get the food for the 12 people. I don't know why I think that's funny. I do. Do you serve food during game night, or like finger food, or just chips or snacks? Or is it pretty much, because I'm pretty careful about my games, so I don't want people getting nasties on my games. So do you serve any food, or is it sort of like a dry experience in terms of food?
It's pretty light on the food. Usually we have like a candy dish and then drinks, whether it's mocktails or people bring beer, wine. There's usually people might have a drink at game night.
Okay. I've got to fly out for one. We've known each other this long. We've never seen each other in person. That is the weirdest thing. I've never had neither a business relationship nor a friendship this long where I haven't gotten to like shake a hand, give a hug, say, hey, let's go grab lunch or something. It's never happened. It will happen. And it'll be funny if the experience absolutely sucked for both of us. We saw each other in person. We're like, there's no magic here. I need the computer screen. There's no magic here in person. I need that screen. But it's interesting. And I think this is something that we've sort of seen happen. I mean, friendships, they happen in many different ways. But I think since COVID, you've seen a lot of a lot of our day-to-day change, of course, commerce has changed, but interaction among people has changed. And yeah, we've got to see each other in person because the screen thing can only take us so far. As a teenager, I'm going to rebel if we don't see each other in person. Episode 13, I'm going to get really upset about it all over again. Okay, I had, you know what? I will save my before we start for next time because it's kind of evergreen. So I'll bring that up next time. But now we must talk. Well, I know you didn't really have, well, your treat of the day. I was going to say, I don't know if you had anything last night because it was game night. Treat of the day. Did you have one? Did you have one that you wanted to share?
I do have one, but go ahead with yours. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first, Jamie. Thank you. That's the proper thing to do. Okay. So do you have nothing bundt cake in St. Louis?
We do. I had it at a wedding a year or so ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people don't know. Yeah. So well, it's a specific one. It's a new limited edition. You know how, candies and cookies and bakeries, they do limited edition runs of a certain cookie place to do a limited cookie which is ridiculous. Why can't we have it all the time? Make it just every other week. Don't make it so limited. So for those of you who are not lucky enough to have a nothing bundt cakes near you, it's a store, it's a bakery that, true to its name, makes nothing but bundt cakes. So they'll play on words, nothing bundt cakes. And they have this amazing, I guess it's a cream cheese frosting that they use. That's incredible. And when I say it, I get like tingly because it's so sweet, that it really makes your teeth hurt. It's that kind of sweet. It's delicious. And they have different flavored bundt cakes, but they always have like the similar sort of cream cheese, like piping on the top. That's really, really good, really rich and delicious. They have a special flavor. It is a Hershey's s'more flavor that has the Hershey's chocolate with I don't know how they do. I couldn't even, like, a burnt marshmallow and graham cracker toasting on top. I'm getting all giddy inside. Excuse me, I'm having a moment with myself. Okay, I'm back. And they have different sizes. They like the buntinis are the tiny cupcake size. The buntlets are the bigger size. That's what they're called. I'm not making this up. So the buntinis are like the cupcake size where you get like 15 and then bring them to a friend and you just go crazy. And then the buntlets are about yay big, maybe about 5 inches in diameter. And then the full-sized cakes, they have different sizes. So normally if I'm going hog wild, a buntlet, which is the bigger one, I can polish one of those off myself with a little bit of help. But this was so rich. There were 3 of us trying this, and we got about halfway through. I feel like, what was that lava thing that you had? Was it from P.F. Chang's? That thing that dessert you made last for about 2 weeks and you had it every night and shamed yourself? I'm just making the story worse as I go along. So this is like the 3 of us, my daughter, my wife, and myself, sharing this thing. And it was outrageous. We couldn't finish it. As soon as we're done recording, I'm going to see if there's any left and just stuff it in my face like some sort of a wild beast. Now, what about you?
That sounds really delicious.
It's really good.
I love s'mores themselves. And I'm often maybe slightly disappointed when I have a thing that is trying to be a s'more in a different form. But every now and then you have that thing that is trying to be a s'more in a different form, and it's really good, like what you're describing here. And that is really sounds delicious.
I agree with you. All right, so what do you got? What do you got food wise? Or it doesn't have to be food, yeah.
I mentioned it on a recent live cast, but I hadn't eaten it yet, and now I have eaten part of it, which is I met. No, well,
okay,
that is long gone.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
This was I met the other day a Stonemeyer ambassador who is from Iceland, and he is visiting the U.S. for a summer trip. And he knows that I love chocolate, and so he was very nice to bring some Icelandic chocolate. And a lot of Icelandic chocolate apparently has licorice in it. I'm not a big licorice guy, but I wanted to try it. I like trying chocolates from different places. And so this is for those of you who are watching, it's this beautiful packaging from a place called Omnam in Reykjavik. And it was really delicious. It didn't have like chunks of licorice. It was licorice flavor swirled into the chocolate. So it kind of melt in your mouth, and you get a little bit of licorice up front and then a nice creamy chocolate aftertaste. It was really good. Yeah.
That sounds really good. I'm not a licorice guy myself.
Yeah.
Was it black? I'm assuming it's black licorice as opposed to red licorice, or
black, but I think it was in a white chocolate. So it ended up being a tannish color to the chocolate bar. Yeah.
That's interesting. And I jokingly, sorry, I stepped on Jamie while he was talking about his treat because I thought he was going to talk about the Biscoff Kit Kat collaboration bar that was also Icelandic, was it not? I think that was also, was that another
Yes, that was some friends who were in Iceland recently who brought that back. Just a coincidence. And that was also very, very good.
I should have known that wouldn't last. That would have lasted like 10 seconds in my house too. And I think it's fun to try different types. It's like gaming. It's good to find to step out of your comfort zone and try different stuff because you never know. And as we talked about, on Candy Talk later. We have Positively Candy Talk last week or the week before. We were talking about the Biscoff Kit Kat.
Mm-hmm.
You can't assume when it's something comes from another country that because it has a similar name like chocolate or Kit Kat, that it's going to be the same, because again, the ingredients are different. Their version of soda in different countries has a different ingredient ratio. Chocolate has a different ingredient, with a cocoa mixture and dairy, non-dairy. So there's always a subtle difference. So yeah, I would absolutely, I'm not a licorice fan, but I would definitely try that. And to go back, by the way, to your s'more thing, it's very hard sometimes to match an artificial, not the thing, but get the flavor of the thing, especially when so much of a s'more is not about the taste, it's about the texture. So when I have a s'more type of thing, it's normally the texture that causes the disconnect for me, not necessarily the flavor. I miss that graham cracker. I miss the marshmallow stickiness. So for me, it's the tactile feel sometimes, not just the flavor that's missing. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Especially that gooey inside of a s'more. Yes. It's warm, it's gooey. That is tough to replicate. You can replicate those flavors a little bit.
That's
that
it.
Gooiness is tough to replicate. Yeah.
You know what, Jamie? I think I'm laughing at us because we should really have a totally different podcast that's just about sweet treats, where we try stuff on the show. We may each be 400 pounds, but what we do for our craft, we do for our craft. There's just right. What we're willing to. I'm willing to put the time in and put the pounds in if you are. Yeah, I don't know how sustainable that is, because we always talk about sustainability both with the show and everything. So I don't know how sustainable that would be.
Let's do you. Let's do you first today, Mitchell. Are you okay with doing that?
Of course.
I usually go for. Yeah. What is your main topic?
Well, it might have been. Was it a couple of weeks ago where we talked about gateway games?
Yes.
And that got me starting. You're sort of opening up the world of board gaming to different people. What's a good way to do that? And by the way, we got some great responses on Jamie's YouTube channel. Please keep those comments coming, because we enjoy hearing, again, sometimes we put these topics out to hear what you guys have to say and to get that input and hear other points of view. And so we love that. We got some great comments from you all, and it brought me to sort of the next stage of, so you've had that gateway experience, you sort of have the bug. And I've had multiple people ask me this actually about starting your board game collection. How do you start a collection? And it's a very delicate balance, because again, when you talk about a collection, it should almost be built organically. You see a game that you like, the response, you get it, and then you have another one. But again, for people like myself, I love board games, and at the same time, I do have a little bit of that collector in me, and that becomes a dangerous thing, because you want to acquire things that you are going to play, not to hoard and to have necessarily. Not that I'm judging, because I do it, so I know. I'm talking, you know what I mean, Jay? I mean, there is that sort of dichotomy of the game player, the player/collector, the pure collector that just likes to look at them, maybe not play them. Not judging. It's just a different joy system for people and a different way of doing. Don't you think?
I think the two can go hand in hand too.
Yes, I agree.
But when your shelf is empty, when you're starting out, this seems like what you're thinking about today. Like what? Yeah.
So I have a few like bullet points that I put out for myself, just to sort of guide the conversation into what seems like sort of a good ethos, a good way to approach the collecting. And of course, you have to jump in. And then maybe if we're feeling a little feisty, we could talk about like maybe a first couple of games to sort of add to your collection. If you were telling someone to start their first collection, maybe what would you have them sprinkle in for their first couple? So the thing that came to mind first, and again, I wrote this down last night because I was thinking about it. How do you approach this? How do you approach what to acquire, what to look for? Well, think about the things in life that give you joy. Think about the things, the themes, because I guarantee if there's a thing that you like, there is a game that goes along with that theme, with that hobby, with that love that you have. And that will have sort of a built-in, built-in mesh with your game playing stuff. Because again, if it's something that you like in real life, playing a game based on that, you'll have a natural affinity for. It's already sort of baked in. So I encourage people to think about the things that you like, the things that bring you joy, whether it's a hobby, just something that you do every few weeks or do with your, and I promise you there's a game to go along with that. If you're, I was thinking about this last night. If you like drinking wine, if you like bird watching, if you collect stamps, there's a publisher where I have to go this way. Oh, I have to point the other way because it's reverse here. There's a publisher and a designer that makes and publishes games with all those things in it. I look at Stonemaier, it's like, wow, you guys cover a lot of great things that people are really into. Outdoors, indoors, appreciating vineyards. There's so many cool things. So it's really interesting. You talk about the themes that give you joy. They're all going to be right there. Another thing I thought about, Jamey, is find, especially when you're starting your collection, find stuff that's really easy to get to the table. Because likely if you are starting your collection, you're probably starting to game with other people for the first time. Whether the rest of the group has more experience than you do or not, you are just having this group experience for the first time. So I think it behooves you at least in some of your first games that are easy to get to the table, not too complex in terms of setup, and easy to travel with. Because if it's something that you're going to want to share, you might want to share with someone at their place rather than just yours, and having a couple of games at least to start off that makes it easy for you to do so. I think that's a good idea. Another thing, and Jamey, please pop in whenever you want, because these are just like, I'm sort of like, stream of consciousness here. Another thing is, and this is sort of, it's not the opposite of what I first said, think about the things that bring you joy, but it's also good to think about the people that you're playing with. Think about the group that you might be playing with, what their likes are, what their level of complexity might be in terms of how new they are to the hobby as well. Because at the end of the day, if you're not playing a solo game, one of the great joys of this is, the board gaming hobby is sharing it with other people and having a shared experience. So having, a thought, just keep in mind maybe my buddy, I know what Eric's going to like. He's going to really like that. Brad really loves this game. Brad's going to like this. So if you think in terms of that, it will also help you sort of curate those first few games, because if you're not playing solo, as I said, it's going to be a shared experience. So keep other people in mind. It's sort of a cool way to embrace everyone and bring them in. Here's something that I should really have thought of a long time ago when creating a collection. What do you have room for?
Yeah.
And that's something that people don't often think about, because it's, again, you're thinking board games. How much room could they take up? I'm just going to get a few games. I have a shelf, and then you have a calyx, and you have 5 calyx, and then you have a garage and an office and then a storage unit. It just, it grows out of control very quickly. So especially when you're first, and I use the word curating because I like it, it's a pretty word. When you're curating this collection, think about the space that you have and how much room you have to grow, because it'll make you make decisions based on not just joy and people, but also practicality, because there has to be, I think, a level of practicality. And I think the last thing, Jamey, is, and this is what we talked about with gateway games, that I think sort of crosses over into curating your collection for the first time, is maybe not picking, too many games that are too punishing from the beginning, that punish you right from the start of the game. And this is sort of a crossover with what we said. If you didn't hear us last time, one of the things we talked about sort of later in the conversation, actually, Jamey, about what makes a good gateway game, it shouldn't be too punishing up front, where if you make an early bad decision, it punishes you for the rest of the game, especially when so for a gateway game, introducing a person, new people, you don't want to turn people off that quickly if it can be avoided. Certain complex games with friends that are used to it, not as big a deal. New people, new collections, where you want to get those new games to the table quickly and often, I would keep that in mind too, not too punishing from the beginning. What are your thoughts? How crazy am I to think these are like good things to put out there to the folks?
I think you've covered maybe all the categories, and I was trying to think about the games that I used to start my collection around 15 years ago, around that time, to see how they applied to your categories.
Right.
And the ones that I can remember that were really at the basis of my collection.
I'm glad you did that. I was going to ask you this. I'm glad you naturally said this. Yeah, go ahead.
They were Dominion, which is a deck building game. A game called Stone Age, a worker placement game. Another worker placement game, Fresco, which I think is maybe less known than those other two, but it influenced viticulture's design quite a bit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Another worker placement game. And what was the fourth one? There's one other one. Libertalia, actually, which was kind of neat, because Libertalia was at the basis of my collection, and then we ended up being the publisher of a new version of Libertalia. Years later. This was before I even was designing games for the purpose of publishing them. So I think those were the 4, and those I wouldn't say cover all of the categories that you mentioned. If I was starting my collection now, there would definitely be some different ones in there, but for the most part, those games fit a lot of the categories that you mentioned. A lot of replayability, very easy to get into, not all that punishing, pretty accessible. All four, other than Dominion, all of them are maybe a little bit on the longer. Well, they're like medium length.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, yeah. Have you played? Yeah. What do you remember? What maybe your first cube of games was on your shelf?
Well, yeah, people are gonna laugh at me because, of course, Zombie Dice was there.
Uh-huh.
Love Letter was
Okay.
right
Yeah,
there.
that's a good one.
And,
Yeah.
and again, this is like, this transitions sort of into, okay, let's transition to if you had to like start a little mini collection now as a beginner,
Mm.
what would you do? I would definitely put Love Letter there. I have
Hmm.
no problem with a push your luck dice based game, whether it's
Yeah.
a version of, Farkle or, there's a Yahtzee. There's so many different styles. Love Letter, card based games, Night of the Ninja, stuff that's friendly to larger groups.
Yeah.
And of course, Quacks. I always want to call it Quacks of Quedlinburg. I don't care what they don't put it on the box anymore. It's Quacks of Quedlinburg, Quacks of Quedlinburg, Quacks of Quedlinburg. And I think that is a great. And I'm trying to think, does that fit the criteria that we? Yeah, I mean, it's if you don't get all the expansions, it's easy to fit in the box. I think
Yeah.
it's an easy teach. It's not a big box game. It's not necessarily a theme that gives you joy. In fact, the theme is it's kind of loosey goosey with the theme, but I still dig it. It's still kind of fun because
Hmm.
you got the quacks and you got the pot and you're mixing it up and it explodes. So it's cute like that.
Yeah.
And that one, well, that one actually, and I think this is why it fell on my list a little bit because it's hard to mitigate bad luck in that game. You can mitigate it a little bit, but if you have
Yeah.
some bad luck with your drawing chits from the bag early on, even with the rat tail mechanic, mechanism they have for catch up, and it is a
Yeah.
game that has a catch up mechanism built in, which is also kind of cool as a gateway game as well. That one can be a little tough to recover from if you have a lot of bad luck. If you have a little
Right.
bad luck, and it's a luck based game, it really is. It's luck mitigated with good decision making, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
still, I think Quacks is a great addition to it early. So I would definitely have, Night of the Ninja and Love Letter, and you know what? I'd probably put Seven Wonders in that category too.
Mm. Hmm.
I probably
Hmm.
would put Seven Wonders in that category. What about you? If you had to start, and I'm doing non-Stonemeyer now because I know you'll cringe if I name
Right.
if I name too many Jamey games, he'll get like, dude, you have to do that. Like I do because I want to, not because I have to. But go ahead. What would you start that little cube with if you had to start all over again?
Yeah, well, it would definitely be like a categories of games. Like there would be a light, short cooperative game,
Okay.
like The Crew, like The Gang. I like those games a lot. There would be probably a medium weight card driven game,
Okay.
like Earth or like Wingspan. There would be a short filler game like Love Letter. I think that was a great pick for that one. And there would probably be a good two-player game in there
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
Maybe Seven Wonders Duel, if we're talking about Seven Wonders. I think that's a great one. Or Duel for Middle Earth, the
Have
newest
you played
version.
Duel for Middle Earth? I haven't played it yet. I
Yeah,
have my copy. Is it really
it's
as good as it
really good.
looks? Yeah,
It really is. Yeah,
it checks all the boxes. It takes a
yeah,
system that was already good and puts a theme on top that I really love.
yeah.
So I couldn't imagine it not being a great game.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
there are
awesome.
more categories like that I would probably throw on this list, but off the
Right.
cuff, I would
Yeah,
try to hit those different categories.
that's smart.
And I think one thing that I might add, Mitchell,
Yeah.
and you touched upon it a little bit, but I've seen when someone gets into gaming, there's a level of excitement and enthusiasm that I love seeing. And um, I don't quite know how to phrase this, but I sometimes I see someone buy a lot of games really, really quickly as they're
Yeah.
starting their collection, which is great for me as a publisher. That's fantastic. But uh, I wonder if there's, I almost wonder a little bit if that is a good thing, because if you add a dozen games to your collection over the course of a few weeks, you're probably not playing most of those games right away. And is that maybe eventually you'll get to them? I don't know. What do you think about that? Is there
This is
a
a
right
problem that I've
pace
had.
for it?
This is
Yeah.
like, and again, it's like, and I saw Jamey, and I'll say it out loud. I saw your struggle because this is a positive, but we try and keep things positive here. And I know
Yeah.
you were looking for a way to put a positive spin and not make sure anybody felt shamed or weird about what you're saying.
Right. Right.
But I'm here to take the hit because
Okay.
this is what I struggle with.
Mhm.
So this is a real thing. And that's why I said, and again, we bring this up not to make you feel bad about purchases or this and that, but it's something to keep in mind in a genuine struggle that I've had. Struggle, I'm using struggle in a very loose way, but it's a struggle that I've had as a board gamer and a collector of
Yeah.
things. And I've had this happen before where I love something so much. I want one of these. I want one of these. And this is a great miniature game. This looks so cool. It's going to look so good on the table. And you get so excited that you get things
Yeah.
so quickly. And I think the rule of thumb, and without it sounding like too judgy or negative, is just make sure you're acquiring games at a pace that you're able to enjoy. meaning make sure you're able to enjoy the games that you're purchasing as you're going through this process. Because it's very easy to get into that, the hole that I sank into, which was I got so many so quickly, and I've had to slow down in terms of my crowdfunding because the games start coming in, and that's why I'm making an effort now. I'm trying to pare down my collection a little bit, share games with friends and family. Just because I got so many so fast, as Jamey said, I wasn't able to enjoy each one of them before the next one hit the shelf or hit my my cart or my local friendly game store bag that I brought. So there is something to be said for just being aware and just make sure you're enjoying the stuff that you're buying at a pace that's comfortable and again sustainable is a word we use a lot. That it's sustainable, something you can actually enjoy what you purchase as you're doing it too. So I know what you're saying, Jamey. And again, it's like don't feel weird about bringing that up because you're talking to me. And this is something that I'm fully transparent about and I'm trying to be much better about because I want to enjoy them. I want to enjoy the games. I mean, yes, you can resell your collection, you can gift them to other friends and family, but at the end of the day, when you buy them, if you're buying it for yourself, you're buying it to enjoy. That being said, some people enjoy just seeing the games and the artwork on their shelf. That's a source of joy. I get that too. Just get to enjoy your collection. That's what we're saying. There you go. I like that too. So Jamey, we haven't even gotten to you yet. I'm dying to hear. We've talked so much about collecting. I want to hear what your topic of the day is. And if you're just joining us, we always bring one topic to the table each. The other person does not know. I don't know what Jamey's going to say. And I wonder if it's going to be marbles related. I just threw a weird word out there. Have anything to do with marbles, Jamey?
No marbles today.
No marbles. Damn, I missed again. Okay, go ahead.
So today's topic for me is one of my favorite things about really any hobby, but particularly gaming, is and you talked about this a little bit actually today, when you think of the other people around you as you decide what games to bring to them, to play with them, or even sometimes what games to suggest to them. Even today, as we're talking about suggesting games for a new collection, we can talk about that in a broad way, but also you might have a specific person in your life that is starting to build their game collection. And it feels really good to me when I suggest a game to someone, when I say, I think you might like this game. I think you might enjoy this. I enjoy it. I think you might enjoy it for this reason too. And when I turn out to be right, and when they do really love that game, that feels really good to me. And so I wanted to put that out there today to see what people think in general about that. If someone else has had that experience of recommending a game or movie or a book, whatever it might be, and someone else really enjoys it, really connects with that. And Mitchell, I wanted to thank you because I recently got Night of the Ninja and played it last night.
Did you?
And was delighted by it. And so I wanted to share this thing with you where you did this to me. You suggested a game thinking that I might enjoy it, and you were absolutely right. And I'm so grateful for that, Mitchell. I really, really enjoyed my first play of Night of the Ninja.
I'm so happy right now. You're right. It brings joy. And you know what's really funny? I don't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. As soon as you were finished, I was about to say before, I'm so happy. Dude, you made me so happy. So as soon as you were done, I was about to say, well, Jamey, that's a joy I'll never know because you refused to play Night of the Ninja. I mean, I was like, just finish talking, talking. And then you pulled out that box like, oh, foiled again. I feel like a cartoon. So, I mean, so the game, how large a group did you play with last night? Because I think it plays to at 11 and you had more people than that, but I should have played most of them.
We did. Yeah. So we ended up splitting up into a couple of different groups last night because we had so many people. So I ended up at a table of 5, which is maybe a little low for this game, but it's still worked great. Yeah. There's a typically in this game, players are split into teams round by round. They don't know what teams they're on. But there's also in an odd number, there's a Ronin character.
Oh, you played with the Ronin. That's right.
We did play with the Ronin. Yeah. So we had 5. We played with Ronin, and it was really cool. One thing I would highlight about this game, I know you've mentioned it, but someone listening to the first time maybe about Night of the Ninja, it is similar to a lot of other social deduction games like Werewolf Mafia: The Resistance. It has a similar DNA to those, but I really liked that round to round, my team changed. Like that's a core part of the game, that your team changes every round. And so you're competing for yourself over the course of the game, and your allegiances change, your information changes throughout the game. I really liked how dynamic that was, because I didn't feel like I was locked into a team for the entire game. I didn't feel like I was keeping a secret for the entire game.
Right.
It changed so much throughout the game. So really great recommendation, Mitchell. I really, really did enjoy it, and I look forward to getting it back to the table. Yeah.
That is so exciting. And that game in particular just brings out so much fun at the table, because even though you have a hidden role in the game, like many of these games, you're allowed to say whatever you want.
Right.
I could say, and again, you have two teams, they're red and blue, and the idea is to be the highest surviving member of a clan, and then the entire clan, even if people in that round have already died that were on your clan, if you win, your whole clan wins and gets to draw a little victory. Yeah, sure, it can, to win. Did you have people? Because for me, and this is like to my detriment, I tend to always tell the truth when I play Night of the Ninja. I'm like ruining my ability to win now with anybody randomly who wants to play with me. If I see you at a convention, yeah, you'll know that I'm telling the truth. So I'll sit there and go, okay, I'm blue. Are you on my team? And then my family's sitting there like, I'm like, okay, see, the shrug isn't helping. So you got to tell me because I will kill you next round if I think you're not on my team. So the communication, it's one of these games where as long as you don't show, unless there are cards that, much like other games, there are cards that make you show. If a person has a card, plays a card that says, you have to show them your card, or, I don't know if you got to do this during the game. My favorite thing is there's a card. I think it's a mystic card. I think it's a trickster. I think where you can look at two people's card, like which clan they're in, and then you may switch their cards, and then they're not allowed. You don't have to. That's where it gets sketchy. You may switch their cards, and they can no longer look at their cards. They no longer know what team they're on. So that to me is like the crazy sort of game, like, aha, I really messed with you mentally, haven't I? I won't go on about it, but dude, you made me so happy. I knew you would like it, and I'm so glad you got to get it to the table. And it changes based on the group you're playing with. Again, the mind games, and it's fun. There's a little bit of take that, but it's fun, good natured take that. And it's round by round. So if you killed someone or got killed early on, there are multiple more rounds to play where you can just get them back. It's really, you played Night of the Ninja. That's fantastic. And it makes me wonder, like, what other games people have taught people and, that they loved and got just got that reaction they were hoping for. And it's, again, if I never heard from you about it, I'd be like, oh, he must have played it. And he's like, I didn't respond to it. I'm like, how dare you? Because again, people get like proprietary about the things they like. They love sharing them. But then there's always that little scared kitten inside you that's like, what if they don't like it? Maybe I won't like them anymore. How can they not like? If they don't like this game, that means they don't like me and everything I'm about.
Well, and that it is okay. I think whenever whenever someone makes a suggestion, whenever I make a suggestion, I am putting myself in a vulnerable position that the other person may not actually like it. And they can respond in different ways. Maybe they don't tell me, and that's okay. Or maybe they do tell me, and that's okay too. But it feels good when I suggest a book, a movie, a show, a game, and someone really enjoys it. And so I wanted to share that with you today because you made me happy last night at game night, and I'm happy to have this game in my collection now.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to bring Panda Royale out from my next group. So that'll be and I know I love it. So that'll be, I can't wait to give you my hee-haw moment with that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and at a certain point, and again, you were great about trying this. And I think if you tried, and I think in our comments from our last episode, there were a lot of other people that had played Comic Hunters and also said, oh, Jamey, you're going to love this. I know you will.
And so I did buy it. I bought it at the same time. I won't surprise you with that one, but I bought it the same as Night of the Ninja, but I just didn't I didn't get it to the table last night because we had 5 players instead of 4.
Yeah, it's not a large. That's the only downside. It's not even a downside. It's just four people, and I wish there was a way to make it more. Maybe they'll make an edition where you can have add a couple of other people, because if you were playing like with a larger group, I could just see the fun just escalating with this. Yeah. Oh, dude, my heart was racing as soon as all you had to show was you had me at hello. You just showed that box. I was like, oh, it's happening. It's happening. It's interesting. I had a topic. I had before we start, and a topic that I didn't even touch today, and I will definitely touch next episode. But there would have been even more crossover, and you'll have to just when I eventually mention what it is, you'd be like, oh yeah, I see the crossover there. So we've come close. We've come, very close to having that crossover moment, but we still haven't had a pure crossover, which is good. It makes for better shows. Well, this was really good. I don't know why. Did I look surprised? Like, wow, this show was really good. Most of the time we stink, but we were especially not stinky today. Please keep the comments coming. I know that's something that Jamey and I talk about all the time. Not only do they mean a lot to us because we know that we're connecting with you and you're sharing, we're having shared experiences here, but it also helps us. It helps us with topics for other shows. We usually refer to, as I think we've done in every episode, refer to at least a couple of the comments. So it's nice to see that we're reaching you guys and that you're engaging with us, and please keep that coming. And that's why it's great that we have 2 different platforms. We have the podcast where you can just hear us on your platform of choice, or we have the Stonemaier Games YouTube channel. By the way, there's that certain, what is it called? Vantagi. It's open world in
Oh,
space.
Vantage. It's
Vantage.
pronounced
Yeah,
Vantage.
sorry. Is
Yes.
it Vantage? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the pronunciation was lost on me. So yeah, Vantage is on the water. I'm very excited to get that. Not only get it to the table, but play remotely. And I think maybe next episode we'll talk a little bit about playing remotely as maybe a starter topic, just because not every game is suited, to it or suited for it, suited to it. But Vantage is. And there are other games that also are. So we'll talk about games that you can play. I'm not talking about digitally. We're talking about actually analog, sitting there with the bits and pieces and playing with someone on Zoom or, again, your platform of choice. So, Jamey, thank you.
Thank you, Mitchell. Yeah, I'm excited. Like you said, I'm excited to see in the comments what people say about maybe if they can remember what the few games that they started their collection with, and the last time maybe they suggested a game and someone really connected with it, or vice versa. I'd love to hear about that in the comments. It was great spending this time with you today, Mitchell.
Always great, Jamey. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week as very stubborn, ornery teenagers on episode 13. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, bye.